Welcome to the eSales Podcast, your ultimate guide to mastering the art of online selling. Whether you're an entrepreneur, business owner, digital marketer, or sales professional, this podcast is the passport to dominating the digital marketplace. Today we talk to Anna from Dreaming Big Lifestyle. She talks about going all in business and how focusing on one social media platform initially before actually going all out and into everything and mastering it before expanding into others is the key to consistency and success. She also talks about how she started her business journey and going just part-time while working 9 to 5 and then transitioning full-time into entrepreneurship after 2 years. She talks about these little tips and tricks on how to actually frame and focus on your mindset, and also talks about the importance to having some form of safety net when starting a business. She is absolutely full of energy. She has amazing tips and tricks to share with you. I'm sure for those of you who are just starting out or even in business for quite some time will find some great value in this episode. So please enjoy and we'll see you on the other side. So, hello and welcome, and I'm really excited to have Anna on the show today. She's going to talk about marketing, she's going to talk about business, she's going to talk about how to actually step out into your business and working full time. So I'm really excited to have you on the show today. She's also from Canada as well, so literally where I am on the opposite side of the world. So it's really a great place to be able to connect with, the whole entire world through the beautiful world of the internet. So welcome, Anna.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's pretty magical that we have the capabilities of connecting from so far away.
Yeah, I know. And it's like such a beautiful space. And so I guess this kind of brings me into the world of business, the ability to not only work in your, I guess, stratosphere in your country, but I guess across the globe as well. So, Anna, talk to us about how you got started in your business.
Yeah, so I got started in my business. I like to say it's a little bit different because I find that a lot of people, or there was this moment of like business culture where everyone was being encouraged to just dive into the deep end and see what they could do with it. And I went about it a little bit different. I actually started building my business while I was still working 9 to 5, running it as a part-time situation because really I just wanted to diversify my income. I came to the realization that working 9 to 5 meant that someone else had control of my money, of my time, of my value, because ultimately they're the ones deciding if I'm getting a raise or not.
Yep.
And it kind of turned on a light bulb and I was like, okay, this doesn't really fit into the lifestyle that I see for myself. And I think that was the biggest push for me to actually start my business. So I did it with the safety net of still having a 9 to 5 job, which if anyone listening to this is maybe toying with the idea of starting a business and right now you're working 9 to 5 or have a source of income, do it now because it really gives you the opportunity to try and fail
Mm.
out there being this like looming heavy weight on your shoulders of this has to be successful. I can't get anything wrong, which in business, as business owners, we know that the best way we move forward is by making a lot of mistakes. But when you're in that situation where it's make or break every single decision, it does put you in a situation of despair. And we tend to not make the best decisions from that point of view. It's better to make decisions from like inspiration and motivation than despair. Despair makes you want to do 100 things that aren't actually going to move your business forward just simply because you're worried about what to do. So, with that said, start the business if you haven't. Like, just go out there. All you truly need is a place for people to find you, which can be any social media platform, and a way to collect money.
Yep.
Those
Yep.
two things, you're set. Like, don't worry about having a website if you're not ready for that. Don't worry about anything else. Those two things will set up your business. Of course, we will talk about marketing strategies and how to make more sales. But if you're in that starting point and you're hesitant, that's the only two things you truly need to actually get yourself out there and get going. Now, as I said, I started my business sort of part-time. I was doing it on the side. I was having fun with it. And then I decided to take it full-time, which was a little scary, I will say. Just simply because you're putting yourself in a space of vulnerability that's a little bit different. When you're selling, you're basically coming on here on podcasts, on your social media, wherever you're promoting your business, saying, I'm amazing, buy from me. Ultimately, that's what we're doing, right? We're
Yeah,
saying we have an
absolutely.
amazing product, we have an amazing service, come buy from me. So you almost have to have a really big ego because there is this level of vulnerability where people might not respond properly to that or the way that you're expecting them to. And if your family is following you, there's like this awkwardness, right? This is where mindset is such a key thing when it comes to sales because you kind of need to work through that to actually have any sort of sales coming through. So I decided to take my business full time. I've been doing it full time for 2 years, and that was a journey in itself. I really just focused. I took the leap and I just focused on getting clients for the next 3 months. That's what I did. Like I left my 9 to 5 in December and I was like, okay, I need clients for January, February, March. Let's figure it out. And let me tell you, it was a roller coaster of emotions because like you need to have someone in your corner, first of all. Like, I myself am a business coach, but I also have a business coach and mentors that I turn to because they allow me to kind of fall back on someone that has been there, that has experienced it, that can help me work through anything that's like, this is odd, or like I'm overthinking this. Help me simplify this further. Having those people in your corner really make a difference, and they really help navigate you through those moments of like high emotion where you are just like, I'm doing my best. Like I mentioned, like as a business owner, we know that feeling is a huge part of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really love that story, how you just literally took the leap of faith and, went in and just said, okay, 3 months, what do I need to do and go and do it. I think that, when you're right, when you kind of get into that mindset, there is only one way and it's the only way, So I guess for me, I'd love to kind of understand what um what kind of up and downs you had during those first 3 months and how you overcame them.
Yeah, so it's funny because I feel like at this point, although that was like maybe 2 years ago, it feels a little bit like a blur because in the moment, you're looking at it day to day, week to week, month to month. But when you're looking back on it, you're like, well, I'm looking at the year and I actually made really good money and got a lot of clients, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's almost a little bit harder. You almost like blur out the parts that were a little bit triggering. But from what I can recall, I will say that I kind of just put myself out there and I was willing to take anything and everything.
Mm,
Originally, when I started my business and went out on my own, I was really focused on business coaching and only bringing on clients for business coaching. And what actually ended up happening was that I was kind of hiding these other skills that I had, which were marketing. Um, and I was like kind of like blocking the possibilities of income and clients coming in based on my skill sets because I was so focused on like it can only come in this way. Once
mm,
I actually came to terms with the fact that my skills are valuable and that people out there do need marketing, I had like a floodgates of clients and I was just doing my thing. And I was like, okay, I should have probably done this sooner. But it wasn't until that mindset came through that I was like, my skills in marketing are actually a great connection to business coaching. And why wouldn't I offer that? Because business owners are looking to delegate, to have someone else do the stuff for them. So I think that would be like the biggest thing that I learned in those first 3 months, which was just really own your skills,
mm.
have a plan that allows you to keep discipline because there's definitely moments when I would wake up and be like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And again, that's actually a really good point. Like you have to be really clear on why you're doing this. Like
Yeah.
what's going to change in your life to actually stick around and see this to the point that you have marked successful, which for me at that point was like at the end of the year, I want to just supplement my 9 to 5 income. Like that is my goal.
Mm.
So you have to kind of have that success measurement because otherwise you're always going to feel like you're failing because you'll start comparing yourself to other people in the industry that have probably been around for way longer. And the other thing is having a plan, but being okay to be flexible. It's almost like if you think about a sports team, like they go on there and they already have sort of like a plan on how they're going to work together to win the game. But in the moment, you have to be flexible and respond to what the opponent is doing, right? So
Yeah.
you have to have the plan to be able to actually stay disciplined and at the same time, it also actually opens you up for flexibility because then you can be creative because you know that you have to post this many times a week or that's how much you want to do, right? And then it's like, okay, now how do I get creative with that? How do I have fun with that? And for me at the beginning, I would say in those first 3 months, I was just so focused on sticking to the plan and not
Yeah.
having flexibility that I was overwhelming myself in trying
Yeah.
to get every single thing right. And
Yeah.
I was more focused on the strategy and the plan than I was on like the mindset. The mindset
Yeah.
comes into play in the sense of like, if you don't think this is going to be successful, it doesn't matter if a billionaire is putting together this plan for you or someone says, I'm guaranteeing you results, you're just not going to see those results
Yeah.
because you don't actually think it's going to work for you.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 of course. And like there's so many elements here that you've spoken about with the qualities of becoming a business owner. You've got to be creative. You've got the discipline in place. You've got to have be open, and then you've got to be this, but then this, but don't be too much of this, but then do too much of that. So how did you manage to find your balance? Because I know from my experience, I was exact same. I was very disciplined, must be this way. And creativity was never really a thing, really like, kind of like one way person type of personality. So how did you manage to find more flow? And how did that change your business when you did manage to find that flow?
I will say that finding flow is ever changing. It's not something that you find and discover and stick with. I feel
Yeah.
like it's something that you constantly have to keep adjusting to be in flow.
Hmm.
And the reason that I say that is because you're always in different seasons of business. Like sometimes your business is like super busy that you're actually in front of your computer 9 to 5. And then there's other times when you're like, oh, I only worked like 6 hours this week. How
Yeah.
amazing, right? And
Yeah.
I'm still making good money. It kind of depends the season of business you're in. So that's why I say your flow changes because you truly just don't know until you're in it. But you just have to be mindful of that balance. I will say that um, sorry, I have to pause for a second.
Of course.
Can you just re-ask the question? Because my train of thought went
Yeah,
like,
that's okay. So how did you find that flow? The flow in your business creativity versus following a plan and discipline. And
okay.
how is that working for you now?
So in terms of finding my flow, I almost had to break two things. One was this ideal of what business needs to be like, because ultimately you're kind of
Mm,
following what other people have pre-established, because there is no manual. It's not like when you buy a car and it comes with a manual. I
no.
wish, like that's why having a business coach or buying those courses is super important because you do have a somewhat of a manual you can follow, which is
Hmm.
amazing. Um, but one was breaking down this idea of like business needs to be done in a very specific way. I need to wear like a suit. I need to look this way. I need to talk this way to fit into like business owner identity. And then the other one was breaking 9 to 5 habits of like, I need to work 9 to 5. I have to take a 30-minute lunch and I should work during my lunch and I should be doing X, Y, and Z and I shouldn't be doing this. Like those habits that you build in working 9 to 5. If you've ever worked a 9 to 5, like you know what those habits are that don't serve you.
Yeah.
So finding flow for me was really understanding one, what do I envision my business as? And for me, the biggest thing was that my business needed to support my life. That's all I wanted. It's like in other countries outside of like North America, everyone really values life. And
Yeah.
work is just a component, a very small component, like something they have to do to be able to support their life. Versus in North America, it's a little bit more like work is everything. The first thing you ask someone when you meet them is, what do you do for work?
Mm.
So for me, it was like, I want to kind of break this perception and make it more about my life. So when I decided to take my business full time, what I used to say is that I'm taking my lifestyle full time. I'm
Yeah.
really going on this lifestyle that I want. So I was already
Mm,
going into it with the mindset of flow. Like
yeah.
my work needs to support my lifestyle. If I'm in a position where I'm working from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, and that becomes a constant, like that's 2 months in, that's what I'm doing, then my business is not supporting the lifestyle that I want. And
Yeah.
then breaking those 9 to 5 habits, like waking up and starting work right away, not for me. Like I noticed that I have more energy in the morning. So then I try to get the bulk of my work done in the morning and have my afternoon free,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
not very 9 to 5, right? It's like 9 to 5, you're sitting there 9 to 5.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I love that. I love how you said you go full out on the lifestyle that you want to live. Now that's looking at another perspective that changes things. So, Tell me more about that. I'm intrigued to hear more about that kind of shift.
Yeah, so that shift was one of my whys of starting my business. Again, I think that's very important. You really need to know why you're doing this because then it's almost works as your North Star. Every time that you're second guessing something, does it align with like your ultimate reason for doing this, right? So why are you doing this? And for me, the lifestyle was really big. And what I do every month is I actually have a task for myself that at the beginning of the month, I put in my lifestyle tasks into my calendar,
Mm,
which can look like planning an outing with friends, like I don't have to like message them and book it right away, but I at least put it in my calendar to make that a priority. I purposely go and do workout classes at 9 in the morning so
yeah.
that I'm not working from 9 to 10 like most 9 to 5ers are doing. So I really focused on what can I do that feels really good for me and really connecting to your intuition. I do think that that's a very important part of flow. A
Mm,
lot of the times we're like, this is the expectation, this is what should be done, but your gut feeling is saying something else, like just something doesn't sit right about it. And I feel like that, if you can start to listen more to that, it's going to put you more in flow. And
yeah.
that's also going to allow you to kind of build your business to support your lifestyle. So, for example, if you picture yourself spending 6 months of the year in another country, then your business needs to be able to either go with you, or if you are, for example, a brick and mortar store, you need to hire someone that you trust to run the store while you're not there. So it's all these things that you can, although this might be a vision for you like 10 years down the line, you can start pre-planning all these things now. So I really focus with my clients and my own business to really look at the long-term goals, like ultimately, like what is that rich girl lifestyle that you're looking for?
Mm,
And then from there, what are the things that we can start doing now to build that foundation? So if you do see yourself not living in the country 6 months out of the year, okay, like when can we plan your next vacation so that you can actually test out what it would look like to be somewhere else and running your business full time? What can we do now, like maybe taking off every other Friday where you fully don't work and you just trust that your business is going to support you and keep running behind the scenes? Because
yeah.
ultimately, with the online world, your business is running 24/7, whether
Yeah.
you're there or not.
Yeah.
So it's really about putting those things into play now, short term, to build into the long-term goal. And it just becomes that much easier to make the next decision because you already have foundations that are supporting that long-term goal.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. I really like that. And I like it how it's more of a holistic view. For me, I think when I'm thinking about it as you're speaking, it makes it a lot less pressure, for me to only just work. I can actually have fun. I can spend time with my son. I can go out for a walk or go to the gym at 9 o'clock in the day,
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty
Yeah.
wild. Like even clients would be like, I've been holding off on getting, this is a true story. One of my clients was like, I'm holding off on getting like my manicure and pedicures done. And I was like, go do it. Like go
Yeah.
do it and just trust that you've done everything you needed to this week for that next client to come in. And I kid you not, she sends me a message as she's getting her nails done going, I just got a client. I'm like, okay, great. See, this is what happens. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
truly believe your mindset is actually backing up the
Mm,
idea that your business supports your lifestyle.
yeah.
So if you want that, then you need to take action on it. Your
Mm,
lifestyle needs to become a priority for you. And
yeah.
I'm not saying go and buy like $1 million house if you can't afford it. Like we're not saying crazy things like that. Although like if you want to take the plunge, you do you. I'm not advising that. But it's like, what can you do to show yourself that you truly believe this, that you
Yeah.
truly believe that your business can support your life and that you don't need to be there 24/7. Like, do you trust that you've done enough this week that you can take off Friday, not look at your phone or your emails or your computer until
Mm.
Monday, and know that everything is still going to be standing?
Yeah, 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 yes, yes. Oh, so true, so true. That's really awesome. And so I'd love to hear from you, Anna. What's on your, I guess your radar, if you want to call it that, in the next 3 months or so? What's your lifestyle or your shift or your goal? I don't know. That was three questions into one, but answer that however way
That
you
was a
want
lot
to.
of questions in one. Well, blowing on my business is always a great goal, but the thing
Yeah.
is that I'm working through that one mindset wise simply because I don't want to fall into this idea and perspective of you need to have a business that is massive and where you
Mm,
can help millions of people a year in order to be successful. Because ultimately, I find the most rewarding for myself and my clients, doing the one-on-one work. And realistically, I can't work with a million people in
yeah.
1 year, one-on-one. That's just not realistic. So I would love to just have a bigger impact, and be able to help more people truly just take control of their lives. Like that's how I view this because,
Mm,
you know, realizing or for me, realizing that perspective of someone else has control over my life in terms of like how much money I make, if I'm approved for vacation, if I can go to the doctors today, because all these things need to be approved in a 9 to 5 job.
mm,
To be like, no, you actually have control and you get to decide what it is that you're going to be spending your time on, when you're giving yourself a raise and all these things. If I can empower and help more people do that, that is my life goal, 100%. In the next 3 months, I am going back home. So I'm actually from Argentina. So I will be spending the holidays with my niece and nephew, which I'm very excited about. They're at like that super cute age. So that'll be a lot of fun
oh, that's so adorable.
to go and do that for the holidays.
Yeah.
And yeah, business wise, I have a couple of free workshops coming up and just working away. I have a new membership that just came out, a monthly membership where it's called Go All In, which is
Hmm.
super fun. It's like a space to help people basically get a client by the end of the week. Like that is the goal of this. And in there you go and you get a whole bunch of tools. We do live calls, you get prompts for your posts, all that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, go all in. I love this. I love the name of the membership. I think that sounds like really fun, really engaging. And so like tell us more about your marketing side. So you spoke a lot about your mindset, the coaching, the marketing. What is it that you do there, Anna?
Yeah, so I basically am the outsource. People outsource, companies outsource to me to do their marketing for them. So what that looks like is you might be looking to basically not have to do anything with your social media. So I come in and take care of that. So to
Yeah,
share some tips on social media, because listeners would want to know this kind of
of
stuff,
course, of
here's
course.
what I suggest. Choose one platform, get really good at it.
Hmm.
It's so easy to get kind of locked in or watching other people that are maybe in the same industry as you, but like 10 years in, 20 years in, and they're on every single platform and they're doing
Mm,
different stuff and they're crushing it. They're doing great things on all of them. And it can be very intimidating to be like, okay, but I'm only really on one. And like, how do I add more? Like, I'm
yeah,
already like doing so much. I don't have time in my schedule. So, get really good at one platform, choose whichever platform that is. Think about your ideal client and where they're spending most of their time on. Is that Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok, wherever that might be? You decide, have fun with it, create consistency for yourself. This is going to allow you to build trust and authority with people, share things, share your knowledge. Sometimes we feel like people already know this. They don't. They really don't. Don't
mm,
be scared to be repetitive. It takes a lot of touch points for someone to really understand what you're talking about and if it's for them. So don't be scared to be repetitive. Think about any store, any huge store, okay? Victoria's Secret, for example, I unsubscribe from them every single chance I get because they email me every single day. And I am not buying bras and underwear every single day.
yeah,
Like it's just not happening. Okay. So you as a small business owner, please do not be afraid to sell and talk about your business every day.
yeah,
So choose a social media channel, a platform that you want to be really good at. Focus on that one. Get really good at it. As you're doing that, you can take that content and share it to other places. Like any, if it's Instagram, for example, any reels that you post, you can also post on TikTok. You can also post on YouTube Shorts. Don't worry about creating a strategy for every single channel. Look at the one that you like the most, the one that your ideal client is on, and just get really consistent in showing up, whether that's 3 times a week, 4 times a week, whatever that looks like for you, and start posting.
yeah,
Force yourself, okay? Which is probably not a word that I normally use, but build the consistency. And
yeah,
sometimes that means like pre-planning a month in advance what your post ideas are so that when you show up that day to do the post, you don't have to think about it so much and you're not holding yourself back. Because otherwise it goes on the back burner and all of a sudden it's 8 p.m. and you're going, oh, I missed today. Oh, well.
yeah,
But no, like build
yeah.
that consistency. It makes a big difference. So if you're on Instagram, I suggest at least posting 3 times a week. That would be a starting point. If you're looking to blow up, there are people out there that are posting twice a day. If you do not have the time for that, do not do that because
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to be consistent with it and you're going to burn out and you're going to get really annoyed with being on social media. Use it to your advantage. Like we live in a world right now where we have access to tools that allows us to expand our reach. Can you imagine printing out an ad in a newspaper and hoping the right people got it?
Yeah.
It's, not my vibe. I'd rather show up on social media for 5 minutes every 3 days and do that than take out an ad in the newspaper and hope that someone sees it.
Mm.
Like engage with people in your community. I think that's actually another great point when it comes to social media. Like, don't wait for people to come to you. Go to them
Mhm.
as well. Like, genuinely
Mm.
engage with them. It's you're on there to build a community. That is the most important part. You're building a community. That's what I have to say for Instagram. For Facebook, join Facebook groups. Facebook groups are really good for generating leads and clients and connecting with other people because your allows you to basically build a referral network, a network of people that know you, you know them, you can refer each other. It's fantastic. Facebook groups are great. TikTok, if you want to blow up on there, you gotta post a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot, like every single day, multiple times a day. If you're looking to like blow up, what I would suggest on there is like if your business, for example, has multiple products or multiple service, I would just focus on one thing and just consistently talk about that on TikTok and try to
Mm.
get as much content out there with like different perspective, different points of views, different intel, tips, strategies, whatever,
Mm.
resonates, whatever your business is about, and just get as much content out there as possible on TikTok so that you can start building your followers, getting yourself to a point where you can add a link to your Instagram account,
Yeah.
really focus on selling one thing on there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. I really like that consistency tip, and focusing on that one thing. So my last question, because it's got me curious, how long do you need to post for about your one service, your product, until you know it's not working, if your strategy is not working?
Yeah, that's such a good question because a lot of the times what tends to happen is that we'll post one, we don't get the response that we're looking for, and we kind of
Mm.
just back away and hope that no one actually saw what we posted. But you want to have consistency with it. Right now, people are taking longer to buy than they were like during the beginning of the pandemic, for example. Like back then, everyone was just like add to cart, checkout. No one was really asking questions. Now they need a little bit more time and
Mm.
information to make decisions, is what we're seeing right now as the trend. So what I would say with that is create a plan for yourself that's at least like 4 weeks. And I'm not saying that in every single day of those 4 weeks you're going, buy this pen, buy this pen. Be
Mm.
creative. Talk about the pain points. If you are selling a pen, that could look like, are you tired of writing in pencil and it erasing as you're writing? Well, I have the perfect solution for you. That
Yeah.
sounds very infomercial, but you get what I mean. It's like,
Yeah.
talk about the pain points, talk about the desires, show social proof. Like, are people buying? What are some testimonials? Do you have any lessons or things like that that you can share that ultimately all tie into whatever it is that you're selling without you really having to go buy this?
Mm.
Obviously, you should also have those because people need to know that they can purchase the solution from you or this thing from you. Sometimes people forget. So I would say create a plan for yourself that's at least 4 weeks so that it also gives you a chance to play around with it. And
Mm.
what I mean by that is like, it's maybe today you do a reel and then you're like, okay, but I could have expanded more on that. So next week I'm gonna take that reel and actually turn it into like a carousel post
Mm.
and have it written out because people consume information differently, right?
Yeah.
So it allows you to kind of target people in that manner. But I think I would say about 4 weeks is a really good time. And just keep an eye on after like the first 2 weeks, look at your analytics on any social media platform that you're on.
Yeah.
Like, what are people most engaging with? What has the highest impressions? What got the most comments? Things like that, because that's showing you what your ideal client is
Mm.
actually engaging with and focused on.
Yeah.
And then you can just kind of take that information and recreate those. Like if videos are working really well, is it videos where you're talking to the camera? Is it videos that have a trending sound? You can kind of analyze it further and take that as sort of your formula to recreate for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. And I like how you're always like monitoring, always having a look and see, and also continuously posting to see what works and what doesn't. I think, I know when I first started, even now, like when I post something that doesn't work, then I'm like, oh my gosh, no one saw that. And then it kind of just puts you into a little bit of a turtle shell, like, and kind of puts you into a little hiding mode. But yeah, I love that tip how you just continuously have a look and also test and see what works, what doesn't. I think that's
Yeah.
really key. And also for you, I'd love to kind of hear which platform do you like to spend the most time on?
For me, it's Instagram. I think I've sort of just grown up with it as a user, and then like as a business owner was such like an easy transition from one to the other because it was just
Mm,
like a really fun platform. I am in the back of my mind and in the back of my business strategizing some stuff for TikTok because that's also a really fun place to do a lot of trends
yeah,
because videos are kind of shown differently and what people are putting out there is a little bit different. It really gives you the opportunity to kind of hop on board like funny trends that are going on
yeah.
TikTok and just
Mm,
really have fun with it. So definitely going to be going over there in a little while once I kind of figure out exactly what I want to do on that platform. But I would say Instagram is sort of like my go-to.
mm.
They've really just added a lot of things to that platform to really benefit business owners, which is a fantastic feature. So
Yeah, yeah. Oh, perfect, perfect. Well, that's amazing. So what I'll do is I'll put your Instagram and soon to be your TikTok in the description. But before we head off, Anna, what is one tip that you'd like to give to the audience to help them with their business and their sales today?
mm, I think it's going to be mindset. I would
Yeah.
say believe what you're putting your time and effort into. Like,
Okay.
be repetitive with the belief behind it. Like even if that looks like I'm gonna do the silly dance video and it's gonna get me 20 new followers. It doesn't matter what it is, but please put belief behind it. The worst thing you can do is just do things because other people are doing it, but in the back of your mind, you're like, this isn't gonna work. This
Yeah.
is just not gonna work. And then I do have a second tip, and I will
Yeah,
say,
go.
yeah, put a measurement of success. A lot of us don't do that, where we put a post out there and it got 30 views, and you're like, oh, that didn't perform. Okay, but what do you consider successful? Would it have been successful if that generated a client? Would that have been successful if 50 people saw it? Would that have been successful if you had gotten 3 comments? Like, what are we talking about here? Because ultimately, it's so easy to put things out there and just say that wasn't successful
Mm.
when you didn't actually put a measurement for success.
Yeah. That's so true. So, yes, so much to dive into, but maybe this can be a next episode kind of thing. I love it, Anna. Thank you so much. The mindset, I think that's so important. And for those of you listening, we had so many golden tips just at the start of the episode where we talk about mindset and how to kind of really go all in. And also, Anna's also got her amazing Go All In membership as well. So, Anna, the link will also be in the description as well. And for those of you listening, please go in, check her out, and see what she's got. So she's got so many valuable things that you've shared. So thank you so much. And I've really thoroughly enjoyed talking to you today, Anna.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you so much and have a good day.
You too.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you listening into the show today. And if you did like our content, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or this YouTube series so that way we can keep giving you more content and sharing you more knowledge around how to scale your sales online. And if you are wanting to boost your sales online, please sign up to our e-sales school where you will learn to automate and navigate your way around in this digital marketplace. Thank you so much once again. I really appreciate you joining in today. And remember to keep selling, keep having fun, and keep being you.